Today I will persuade you that the three strikes law should only be used for serious and violent crimes. I will go over what a serious and violent crime is, what the three strikes law is, how it got started, and why it is good. Then I will explain the cons of the three strikes law and why it should only be used for serious and violent crimes. Each state decides for themselves what they think defines a serious and violent crime. Violent offenses can include murder, robbery with a deadly or dangerous weapon, rape, and other sex offenses. Serious offenses can include the violent offenses as well as burglary of a residence and assault with intent to commit a robbery or rape. What is the three strikes law? It is a habitual offender law. This means that somebody that is convicted of three separate criminal offenses will be put in jail for 25 years to life. The name comes from baseball when a batter has three strikes and then they're out. Washington State enacted the first three strikes law in 1993. This first version of the law said that if a person was convicted of three separate felonies, they would get life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now there are 28 states that have some version of the three strikes law. These states include New Jersey, Texas, Tennessee, California, Maryland, Georgia, and Kansas, among other states. The purpose of this law is to get the repeat offenders off the streets. The whole reason Washington enacted the law was because of two incidents that involved repeat offenders. The first incident was when Helen Harlow's 7-year-old son was raped, choked, and sexually mutilated by a man who had been assaulting children for 24 years. The year before this incident, Ida Ballistow's daughter was abducted and murdered by a man who had been in jail 2 times already for sexual assault. Clearly, the state of Washington was hurting, and they wanted to do something to get habitual offenders off their streets. The three strikes law is good when it puts away murderers and rapists for life. Another good thing about the three strikes law is that after a person's second felony, they get a prison sentence of double the length. So if their crime is usually punished with 5 years, they will receive 10 years if it is their second felony. This longer prison sentence should teach them a lesson, so they will learn to behave themselves and not get arrested for a third felony and have to go to prison for life. Supporters of the three strikes law believe that it brings down crime rate because it gets criminals off the streets. However, they do not have much evidence to support their claim. I got this information from balancedpolitics.org. Now I will explain what is wrong with the three strikes law. The biggest flaw is that this law increases prison populations. California is the state with the worst prison crowding dilemma. The California Institution for Men is now operating at 200% of its capacity. In the Chino State Prison, inmates sleep in triple bunk beds in a gymnasium that was never supposed to house prisoners. Prison overcrowding is bad because it leads to more violence among prisoners, and it is not good for prisoners' health. We do not need to be putting more prisoners who committed non-violent crimes in jails that are already overcrowded. The other bad thing about some states' three strikes law is that they count any felony for the third strike. This means that if somebody has already been convicted of 2 felonies and they get caught stealing, they will get 25 years to life in prison. I'm going to give a few examples of cases which I found on prisonmovement.com where people have gotten 25 years to life in prison for non-violent crimes. Gary Ewing had already had 2 strikes against him, one for burglary and the other for robbery with a knife, when he was caught stealing golf clubs, and because of the three strikes law, he got 25 years to life in prison. Another case is of Leonardo Andrade. He already had 2 strikes against him, both for shoplifting, when he was convicted of his third strike by stealing 9 children's videotapes. He also received 25 years to life. If a person is convicted of their third felony and it is a non-violent crime, they should just get a shorter prison sentence instead of having to go away for life. People who oppose the three strikes law see these types of cases as cruel and unusual punishment, which is in the 8th Amendment. On November 5, 2002, Gary Ewing sued the state of California, arguing that he had received cruel and unusual punishment for his 25 years to life in prison sentence. But on March 5, 2003, The state ruled that the three strikes law did not go against the Eighth Amendment. Today I have gone over what the three strikes law is, its history, what states have some version of it, and the pros and cons of the law. I hope I have persuaded you that the three strikes law should only be used for serious and violent crimes, because when it is used for all types of felonies, it causes severe prison overcrowding and puts people away for smaller crimes such as stealing children's videos.